Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Paragamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidham Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Saturdays come around very quickly from one Saturday to the next. I hope you all had nice Janmashtami festivals, Janmashtami celebrations, and hope also Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja you observed in some nice way. Before I forget, I have just put on the chat a link to one of two Vyasa Puja books. Some of you may not know there are two Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja books every year since, I think they said 10 years now. This is the, it's called Srila Prabhupada Tributes. And the other one is the one produced by the BBT, Los Angeles. This Prabhupada Tributes is cottage industry. It was inspired, as best I know, by His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj. It's been organized by one devotee in England, and it's been printed, except for this year, it's been printed and distributed free of charge to all contributors by some sponsorship, I think, in South Africa. And the idea of Srila Prabhupada Tributes is that anyone and everyone who was initiated by Srila Prabhupada, whatever their status or lack of status, whatever they may be doing or not doing in their devotional lives, whoever they may be associating with or not associating with, whether in ISKCON or in some other institution or no institution, everyone is encouraged to write some offering. So that book is available, and this is where it's available. You'll see on the chat, www.sptributes.com, and you go to downloads, and you'll find this year's Vyasapuja book, last year's, the year before. It goes back, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I think. And yeah, it's quite nice. My own offering is also in that book. You can read. And so today, what are we doing today? We're singing Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We're also, I think, there may be some show and tell. And then we didn't quite finish talking about Putana Vadha Lila last time. So maybe a bit more about that, time permitting. And I thought, if still time permitting, it's nice to meditate on, reflect on the holy Dham, Sri Vrindavan Dham, in its 5 different manifestations. This is a subject that His Holiness Shivarama Swami elaborates rather extensively in his book Navavraja Mahima. So we can look at that if everyone agrees, or if you don't agree, then we can discuss. All right. Yes, now we can proceed. We have, which song number are we now? I don't remember.
Song number 4 from Atma-Nivedana chapter.
Yes, we're continuing Atma-Nivedana. And this is a different meter, I guess you can say, a different. This is, as I remember, this is called Payar. This particular Bengali meter, which most of Chaitanya Charitamrita is in this form. The other form being Tripadi. So here we go. This one's kind of easier to sing. Aham mama śabda-arthe jāhā kichu arpiluń tomāra pade doyā-moy. Aham mama śabda-arthe jāhā kichu arpiluń tomāra pade doyā-moy. Amar amitonat rohinu ekhona hoinu kevala tomār. Amar amitonat rohinu ekhona hoinu kevala tomār. ami śabde dehī jīva aham tacchadilo tadiyabhimana aji hridoye pashilo ami śabde dehī jīva aham tacchadilo tadiyabhimana aji hridoye pashilo Amar sarvasva deho geho anuchar vai bandhu dara shuta drabya dvaragar Amar sarvasva deho geho anuchar vai bandhu dara sutta drabya dvaragar Sheshav hoilo tava ami hoinu Amar grihete eve ami koribhat Sheshav hoilo tava ami hoinu tomāra grihete ebe amiya kori tume griha swami ami sevaka tomār tomāra sukete cheshta ekhona Amar tume griha swami ami sevaka tomār tomāra sukete cheshta ekhona Amar sthūla-lińga-dehe more sukrita duskrita aramor nahi Prabhu amito niskrita sthūla-lińga-dehe more sukrita duskrita aramor nahi Prabhu amito niskrita tomāra ichai more icha misailo Bhaktivinoda aja apane bhulilo tomār icha misailo Bhaktivinoda aja apane bhulilo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare. Haribo, 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 Gaur Haribo. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki jai. Translation: whatever I am, whatever I possess, I offer at your lotus feet, O merciful Lord. I no longer belong to myself. Now I am exclusively yours. Aham mama śabda-arthe jāhā kichu arpiluń tomār pade doyā-moy. O most merciful Lord, one who is constituted of mercy, doyā-moy. Arpiluń tomār pade, I offer at your feet. What do I offer? Aham mama śabda-arthe, everything connected to the sense of aham and mama, I and mine. The soul inhabiting this mortal body has given up the false ego attached to the word I. And now the eternal spiritual sense of being yours has entered his heart. Amar amito nat na rohinu ar. So, nātha, O Lord, Amar amito nātha, you, this Amar, the sense of mine, is yours. The sense of Amar, of mine and I, actually it is for you. Na rohinu ar, I don't hold it anymore. I don't keep it. Ekhona hoinu ami kevala tomār. Now, ekhona, it becomes hoinu, or it became ami, this I, kevala is only, singularly, tomār, it is only yours. All my possessions, body, brothers, friends, and followers, wife, sons, personal belongings, house and home, all of these I give to you, for I have become your servant. Now I dwell in your house. Wait a second, did I get lines mixed up? Oh, that's 4 and 5. Oh, I see. I'm all mixed up. 1 and 2 is the first translation, then 3. Okay, that makes more sense. The soul inhabiting this material. Okay, number 3. Ami śabde, dehī. Dehī means the possessor of the body, deha. Jīva aham chadilo. Aham, very Sanskritic, abstract noun, aham, the I-ness. Chadilo, I've given it up. Tvadiya abhiman, aji hridoye pashilo. This today, aji hridoye pashilo, what was in the heart, this abhiman, this mentality, this thinking, I and mine, tvadiya, it is now yours, it belongs to you. Okay, now, 4 and 5. all my possessions, etc. Now I've become your servant. Now I dwell in your house. Amar sarvasva. Deho, geho, anuchar, bai, bandhu, dara, sutta, dravya, dvaragar. My everything. Sheshav hoilo taba. Everything, all of that. Sheshava, all of this. Hoilo taba has become yours. Ami hoinu das, I have become servant. Tomār grihete ebe ami koribas, I am a resident vas in your house. Tomār grihete. I've made myself kori. Tumi griha swami, ami sevak tomār. You are the Lord of my house, griha swami. And I, your most obedient servant, ami sevak tomār. Your happiness is my only endeavor now. Tomār shukete cheshta akon amar. Cheshta is endeavor. Akon is now. Amar, mine. Sukete, your happiness. Sthūla-lińga, number 7. Whatever piety or sins were done by me, by mind or deed, sthūla meaning gross body or physical action, linga, the subtle body. Is it that way or is it the other way around? Dehī, more sukrita duskrita, whatever sinful sin or piety or sin, are more nahe. It's no longer mine. Prabhu amito nishkrita. Now I am, the translation here says, I am redeemed. Nishkrita, literally non-acting, having no action, neither good or bad. And finally, my desire has become one with yours. Tomār ichchai, more ichcha mishailo. My desire has become one with yours, has mixed with yours, I guess, mishailo. From this day, Aja, Bhaktivinoda has no other identity. Bhaktivinoda or Bhaktivinoda, apone bulilo. Literally, he's forgotten himself. Bhaktivinoda says, from today, I've forgotten myself. So this is Atma-Nivedana. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura is giving us the standard. What is Atma-Nivedana? Giving everything. It's, of course, an attitude above all, an attitude that everything really doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the Lord. I like this, he lists, it's kind of similar to the previous song, Manasadeha Geho. In one line, he's identifying how the Lord is everything to him. He says, you are my father, mother, husband, wife, brother, friend, everything. You are all of these. Here he gives another list. Amar sarvasva deho geho anuchar. Anuchar, friends, followers, anuchar. Bhai, brother, bandhu, another kind of friend. No, that's friend. Dada, wife, sutta, son or daughter, dravya. Dravya means materials, stuff. Dvara, Dwara means gate usually, but here I guess it means something more than that. Palace? Maybe it has some other implication. What is it you're thinking is yours? Well, I'm thinking this is this and this and this. Okay, here's the list. Now I give it to you. Now it's yours. Okay, this is Saranagati, is the 6 items. Anukul yasya sankalpa, pratikul yasya varjanam, rakshishyatiti vishvaso bhoktritve varanam tata Atma-Nivedana karpanye. Atma-Nivedana is another way of saying Atma-Nivedana. And karpanya is another way of saying dainya, or dainya is another way of saying karpanya, humility. So we've gone through all the humility songs so that now we can understand what is humility. Now Atma-Nivedana, so Bhaktivinoda's kind of going in reverse order from the verse, from the Sanskrit verse of the 6 items. Yeah, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So then, what do we have today? Who do we have today for show and tell and show?
Guru Maharaj, we have actually 3 devotees who want to share. First is Avadhuta Rai Prabhu, then Ananda Mai Mataji, and then Gokulananda Hari Prabhu from Mexico.
Okay.
Avadhuta Rai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances.
Jai
All
Jai.
devotees.
Is it possible to see you, or you are keeping?
I don't have camera.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I would like first to give a small report. We had a Janmashtami Zoom festival. We started with 17 devotees. The Sanga lasted for 7 hours. We remained at the end 5 of us, but it was interesting. There was discussion, and Granta Prabhu from Subatisa, he did show a movie about Prabhupada and one short movie about Krishna. And we had a quiz also. That
a
was
quiz?
Quiz. Questions, answers. Of course, all the answers were given, A, B, C, D. So some were a little bit difficult, but still, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Some variety in the Sanga.
Yeah.
I cannot show the Govardhan. I was thinking to share one part of the story from Govardhan. And actually, there are some interesting points I was thinking to share from the Acharyas. In this way, it is more enlivening to hear the same story. So I hope I will present it nicely. So Krishna, he did stop the worship of Govardhan, and he was telling to his father and Gopas, don't worry about Indra, he is also under the laws of karma. And actually he wanted to knock down the false pride of Indra, because he became a little bit too proud. He was thinking that he is greater than Krishna. And other reason, of course, why did Krishna lift the Govardhan is because many times when he was going out on the pasturing grounds, then many devotees who remained there in Vrindavan, they were all day thinking, oh, how it would be nice to be for a longer time with Krishna. And then actually he did fulfill the desire of those devotees who could not be during the day with him. So he was there for 7 days together with his loving devotees. So Indra, he gathered all his Samvartaka clouds and he sat on his Airavata, and there were also powerful winds. Lightning bolts, thunderbolts. Several wind gods, winds are mentioned in the purports, like Avaha, who presides over Guvarloka, Pravaha, he holds the planets in their places. They were, it seems, also engaged. And of course, because of the heavy rain, the land of Vraja became filled with waters, and it was very cold, and cows and animals and cowherd men and ladies, they were all shivering from cold. So all they went to Krishna, approached him, took his shelter, and they were asking help. And Krishna, of course, he did promise, by my mystic power, I will counteract this disturbance. Demigods are proud of their opulences, falsely considering themselves the Lord of the universe. So Krishna, he picked up the Govardhan, and it's interesting that Govardhan became huge. Its peaks touched the moon. Touched the moon. And the sun god's horses, they could eat the durva grass at its summit. Why Govardhan became so huge, it will be mentioned a little bit later. So Krishna was 7 years old. He picked up the mountain, and as easily as a child picks up a mushroom and plays with the mushroom. So when Krishna was preparing to lift the Govardhan hill, it is mentioned that Yoga-maya temporarily removed all rains from the sky. So Krishna could swiftly run. There was one tunnel, I think. If I remember well, he went under the Govardhan, and then he picked up the Govardhan mountain. And of course, because Yoga-maya removed all the clouds, the rain, his turban, his garments did not become wet. And of course, then he was calling his mother, father, and all the Vrajavasis to come under this hill. Come under the hill with your cows. You should have no fear that this mountain will fall from my hand. Don't be afraid of the wind and rain. So the cowherd community included many thousands of cows, calves, and bulls. And Govardhan was only 3 miles across. Now, there is an interesting point that because of the touch of Krishna's hands, the Govardhan expanded 32 miles across. And also that's why he became huge, touching even the moon. He was in ecstasy. And actually, the acharyas say Govardhan could give shelter to the 3 worlds even. A very nice, very thing. So by the touch of Krishna's hand, the Govardhan also got inconceivable power. So we all know the thunderbolts of Indra are really, really devastating. And they can smash and kill. Anyway, so all those hundreds of deadly thunderbolts by Indra, they were to Govardhan only like offerings of soft, fragrant flowers. And sometimes Govardhan he would not even feel that he is stricken by those thunderbolts. He got so much power from Krishna. Amazing. So the mountain became vertically extended beyond the clouds of Indra's Samvartakas. And then the hawks, the wild hawks, the animals, birds, they could all climb up above the clouds, and in this way they didn't experience the distress caused by Indra. So Krishna forgot his hunger. He stood there for 7 days, and his praises were chanted by the residents of Raja. All had the opportunity to glance at him for 7 days. Man, woman, all were elated. So it's another wonderful, interesting point that Krishna stood directly facing everyone, even though the Vrajavasis stood around Krishna. He was facing everyone, and everybody could see his beautiful face, not his back, but his beautiful face. In this way, they drank the nectar of Krishna's beauty. And of course, the residents of Vrindavan felt no hunger, thirst, or fatigue. They forgot about sleeping, drinking, eating. And now, maybe the last point, the Sudarshan chakra was engaged in this lila. Sudarshan chakra is hot like hundreds and thousands of suns. And he was circumambulating Govardhan very, very, very quickly. So that immediately as the water, so much water fell on the ground, actually the Sudarshan chakra dried up all the water. So there was no inundation at all. In this way, this is one part of Govardhan Lila I wanted to relate. Thank you for the opportunity, Hare Krishna. I cannot hear you, Guru Maharaj. Is it?
Yeah, just thank you, and Novi Sad Yatra Ki Jai.
If
Okay.
I made any sense, please forgive me.
So, who is next?
Anandamayi Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. I wanted to say something about Shrimati Radharani because soon is her time. I was thinking to do it the next week, but Dharmagupta Prabhu wrote to me that maybe this week will be okay also. So I'm not so much prepared, but this will be something spontaneous. As I am writing my book about self-realization or God realization, I'm including many topics there. And one of them is to see the gradation of many levels of understanding, going deeper and deeper to understand Krishna, Radharani, etc. First book I want to show is the book of the songs. We know all of us know this book, and here there are pranamas to our gurus like Srila Prabhupada, etc., and also Shri Krishna pranama, and there is this Sambandha pranama. And when we see this, all pranamas, when we chant, we go deeper and higher in our consciousness. And when we see, for example, Shri Krishna pranama, because first we offer our obeisances to our gurus, the succession, and then we are reaching Krishna. And this is like the level of Paramatma and the master. The Krishna is showing himself as a master. And we read that you are the master of the cowherd men and the gopis, etc. So then there's this Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana pranama. When we are approaching Krishna with Radharani, in different moods, and then we are coming to Radha Pranama. So this levels of rising, going deeper and deeper, higher and higher, shows us also the position of Radharani, that she is higher than all this Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana levels, coming to the level of fourth level of understanding. And in another book, this is the book of Gayatri Mahima by Mahanidhi Swami. We have some explanation of Gayatris, where he is writing that the Kama Gayatri is the mantra for worshipping me. Indeed, I can be known by the syllables of this mantra. And this is said that this is Srimati Radharani who is saying this. But he is also explaining, so this is the Kama Gayatri explained. When we chant, we direct our prayers to Radharani in that sense. And he's also explaining a sannyasa approach and the meaning of sannyasa, the levels of sannyasis also, from up to Paramahamsa. And here he's saying that there are two conceptions to consider when trying to understand the absolute truth, Shri Krishna. One conception is according to tattva, philosophical truth, and one according to rasa. If preference is given to tattva, then Radha and Krishna are one and the same. So he's saying just clearly, other acharyas also, that this is the aspect of Radha and Krishna. And what I want to present in my book is just to show that there are different approaches of Krishna and Radharani on different levels, and also here here Mahanidhi Swami is saying about rasa, that Radharani seems to be higher in rasa. So this is my topic in some sense, and by explaining the approach of and the meaning of Gopi Bhava mantra, which is for the sannyasis, he's saying that this is for worshipping Radharani that she is like in charge of the sannyasis in some sense. So we have from one side this Gayatri idea of Radharani, and from other side we have Radharani of the sannyasis, like she is the higher level. And for example, in the book, this is a very small book of Sri Sankalpa Kalpadruma of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, where he is showing that Srimati Radharani is his guru, and he wants to be a manjari to serve her, and he's giving here some explanation of Ashtakaliya Leelas connected with Srimati Radharani. We know this Ashtakaliya Leelas, for example, from Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Shri Bhajana Rahasya, when he is explaining Krishna's pastimes in 8 parts of the day, and this connected with steps from Shraddha to Prema, 8 steps, which we can also know from Madhurya Kadambini, which you know, and this whole spectrum of books which we can approach, which our acharyas are giving us, just showing us that what we, like Krishna, he's approached like a guru, like a master, from the side of material approach of Paramatma when we understand him. So also Radharani is in that sense approached from external side, and she's even higher on the spiritual side, like Mahanidhi Swami is saying that she is one with Krishna. So why I'm saying this? Because in our books, in many shastras, we have this idea that Radharani is servant, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing himself as servant, as devotee, and also as God, as Krishna. And we also approach Radharani through the Shakti idea, that she is the Shakti of Krishna. And here his Mahanidhi Swami or other acharyas are saying that no, Radharani is one with Krishna. So my task is here to just show that this is the gradation, this is the step-by-step process to understand first Guru as Krishna, then Radha Krishna, then Radharani in spiritual world. So this is the complexity which we can see in that idea of the whole idea of Radharani. Sorry, it's spontaneous because I had 5 minutes to arrange this before the meeting, because I proposed first this topic, but I was thinking maybe it will be better the next week, but Krishna arranged this situation. So anyway, I hope this will be more clear in my book, this idea. For me, it's quite interesting because we see the Shastras, and there are many contradictions, like Sambandha process, Raganuga process, how to put everything in, in our understanding is quite complex. So that I want to explain in my book. And also the position of Radharani, which is not like Srila Prabhupada. He didn't give us Krishna on the altar, but he gave us Radha Krishna. So this is the meaning, not only because Radharani is serving not only in the mood of servant, but she also accepts service. So yeah, this is quite complex point. So I will not take so much time. Thank you now, and Hare Krishna, and have a nice Radhastami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
And now we have Gokulananda Hari Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, good morning. This is said by obeisances.
Buenos
Good morning
días.
from Buenos días from Mexico. Okay, I don't want to take too much time. I just want to show some progress we have doing here. Can we share our screen, bro? Is there any way?
Prabhu, you can share. Just click on the share screen on the bottom in a green icon.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Let me see. Okay. Can you see it? Is there? Okay. Okay, as you know, Guru Maharaj, I'm living here in Mexico for 20 years now. I moved from Buenos Aires. I have the no fortune of living in any city here where I can find a temple, so it was quite lonely. I always recall Vaishnava key book of the lonely adoration, so I'm very identified with that. So maybe in December or November, I have the opportunity to start a preaching program. So Maya Praharana Prabhu from Panama wrote me and he told me to have, if I wanted to start a program in a Krishna West concept. So I started to have a weekly program where I have the opportunity to gather around 15 or 20 people every time. So it was pretty successful until the coronavirus. So I started to think how to continue with this. In some point, the same Prabhu, he told me that it will be starting a new leader board here in Mexico for Krishna West program. So I'm part now of this startup board in Mexico. We have a meeting with His Holiness Hiryananda Das Swami like 2 weeks ago, and we are under the guidance of two devotees from Chile, South America. So we are doing nice progress in these 2 months, 1 month, we are carrying on this. So this is our social media that we are making at this moment. This is our fan page for Krishna West Mexico. We also have a YouTube channel that we are uploading our classes. We are having Bhagavatam classes, japa meditations at 7 a.m. and at 8 p.m. we are having these Bhagavatam classes. We have our Instagram accounts, and that's, yes, these are the 3 social medias. They're empty because we are creating different groups. I am in the communications group, so I am in charge of the YouTube channel where we upload the classes. And the idea is to have in articles written by all us, that we are like 20 people in this moment. In this board, this is not the total people that is in the Krishna West movement. So this is the map where we are in this moment. I am here in Cancun. on the top right in the Caribbean. This is my center. And we have in Mexico City, here in the center, there's like 2 or 3 centers, and around the center of Mexico, there are a couple of more centers. And we are having our calendar that we start last week. This is our 2nd week, and we are in Saturday 15, and this is me. Today is my class, so I have to leave in a couple of minutes to prepare and finish the class and be there for our guests. So I wanted to show that to you, Guru Maharaj, and our spiritual siblings. This is our progressions in Mexico. I'm very excited because this is the opportunity I was looking forward to do something for Krishna and you to expand on development. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hi. Krishna West.
Yes.
See. Krishna West, Mexico, Ki Jai.
Jai.
I told Hridayananda Goswami, I said, I'm doing Krishna East. I was talking about my visiting China. And he said, no, we already have Krishna East. I said, no, this is Krishna Far East. Yeah, so Krishna North, South, East, West, whatever. Okay, I guess that's kind of it as far as show and tell. Or was there some? That's it? Okay. Yeah, so again, I'll say thank you everyone for joining. If you're in Europe, you may be having nice weather as we are having here. So it's kind of it's the sort of day when you want to go outside. You don't want to sit in front of a computer. But still, I think some of you are outside, and that's also nice. Wherever we are in these 3 worlds, it's nice we can come together in this way. Yeah, one bit of what seems to be good news. I mentioned last week that Yoga-maya, Devi will be having operation, quite serious operation. That was yesterday. They were predicting it was going to take up to 5 hours, that operation. But it was apparently less than 3 hours. And they're saying it was good. It was, they did what was necessary and in a timely fashion to prevent further, hopefully to prevent further trouble. Time will tell. And also, though, on the other side, I wanted to request on behalf of Taruni Saki, the wife, that we extend prayers for Sundar Gopal in Ljubljana. He is in the hospital with a condition, I forget what it's the technical term, but I think it has to do with a blood vessel in the brain opening up. And so, again, it's been some days, some signs of improvement are there, but the challenges are there. So our best wishes and prayers for Sundar Gopal, that he come through this ordeal to continue serving Krishna nicely with his family. Okay, we have all celebrated Krishna's appearance. Janmashtami, I talked on that day about the verse that Srila Prabhupada so much would quote from Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvata, one who knows jāhā, veti, who knows in truth, tattvata, that Krishna's pastimes and or his actions and his birth are divya, does not need to take birth again. So that must be quite some knowledge. If we know that, no more birth, okay, tell me what I need to know. And we came to the conclusion the way to know this tattva is by sadhana. And this is something that Srila Prabhupada tells in an interesting way, that sadhana brings us, how did he put it? I don't have the quote in front of me now. In intimate connection with the truth. So truth, tattva sometimes we say means truth. The word tattva is from tat, which means literally just that. Although it's also kind of placeholder, I'm told, in Sanskrit for, well, I know it is, that it's referring back to whatever has been said more specifically with a name. And then tva makes it the abstract noun, which means literally thatness, which doesn't sound very exciting. What is thatness? One way I found interesting that His Holiness Sri Dayananda Goswami explained, you can understand tattva as category. And so we understand this way of understanding when we speak of Vishnu tattva, jīva tattva, tatastha shakti tattva, different tattvas like that. So that's speaking in category. We can say then we're talking about categories, which would mean tattvata. That's the genitive form of or in with respect to categories. So we can just translate with respect to categories. One who knows Krishna, his birth, his activities, as being in the divyam category. Then no more birth. In other words, just understanding that Krishna is, he's in a different category from us. He's not like us. He has his own, as we say, tattva. And how to understand that? By sadhana. And what especially sadhana? Hare Krishna, calling to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said once, your connection to Krishna is with your beads. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, little more on Putana Lila. And then something on Vrindavan, the idea of Dhama we want to discuss. So, let me jump here. We have a verse, and it's a verse from none other than the Satvata Tantra, which has 1,000 names of Krishna. text 123 says, it gives 4 names of Krishna in relation to Putana. Here we go. Pita Putanikas-tanya, Putana prana shoshana, Putanora stalastayi, Putana mokshadayaka. Pita Putanikas-tanya, he who drank the milk of Putana's breast. And then Putana prana shoshana, he who dried up Putana's life. Then Putanora stalastayi, he who stayed on Putana's chest. And finally, Putana mokshadayaka, he who gives dayaka, moksha, to Putana. Now, what strikes me about this little verse and this list of 4 names of Putana is that it summarizes nicely the what we may see as 4 stages of the pastime. So the first stage is, we could say there's 5, because first there's Putana arriving, and we could add something more early, her being ordered to do this and so on. But the sort of key, when Krishna becomes directly involved, then what do we have? First we have Krishna acting as a baby, sucking the breast of Putana and seeming to suck milk. That appearance changes immediately, and we have the second aspect of the Leela, Putana prana shoshana. We have little baby Krishna still being little baby Krishna, but doing what? Destroying, sucking out the life, literally drying out Putana. So also the pastime begins with, how to say, it begins with fluidity, and it moves into the disappearance of fluidity to dryness. So fluid milk and so on, it's all about wealth and richness and happiness and so on. And then that all of a sudden is, there's an inversion. And suddenly Putana is now getting not just poison, not just milk, but her whole life is getting drawn out of her by the sucking power of this little so-called baby, this divyam transcendental baby. And then the third portion of the pastime, we see Krishna, and I think this is a nice picture one can envision, one can picture in one's mind this little baby crawling around on this giant monster, Putana. Putana is now dead, and Krishna is very much alive, and he is being playful. He's having fun. Putana is no longer having any fun. And then comes as, within this aspect, we can say, this aspect of the pastime is then the reaction of all the residents of Vrindavan, a mixture of joy and horror. And then because there's this giant horrible body, and they are taking Krishna and saving him from the danger, and then going and chanting mantras. The mothers are all going to put tilak on him and chant mantras and make sure he's safe. This poor little baby, little innocent baby who just killed this monster. And then the men are going to chop up this dead body. And so, and they're going to burn it. And when they burn the body, although this monster is so horrible, the smell from her body is going to be very nice. And why is it very nice? It's very nice because the fourth aspect, putana moksha dayaka, has happened. Putana has been liberated. And of course, her liberation is a wonderful thing, considering what her motivation was, the fact that she is permitted to enter into Golokadam and there to be, in some sense, equivalent to Mother Yashoda. She becomes referred to as Janani Gatim. This is wonderful as expressed by Uddhava. Uddhava in the third canto, chapter 2, verse 23. Aho! Aho Bhakti Young, Stanakala Kutam, Jighang Saya Payayat, Apya Sadvi, Lebegatim, Datriuchitam, Tato Anyam, Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Rajema. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, a sadvi. Although she was deceitful, and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. The verse is a rhetorical question. How shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he? And the answer to the question is, you shall not. You shall not take shelter of one more merciful. In other words, he is most merciful. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur refers to this as being one of the indicators of just how merciful Krishna is. Krishna is not he's not even registering, so to say, the intention of Putana. He is not registering the evil intent of Putana. He's only registering the apparently devotional intent. And so he says, what is so amazing is that it illustrates this special quality of Krishna, that even someone who is inimical can attain liberation. And that's why it's sometimes said that it's better to be inimical toward Krishna than to be indifferent. If we can get people to be inimical to Krishna, that may be a good thing. then they will think of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada would say like that, oh, they are speaking about Krishna. This is very good. Even they're speaking negatively about Krishna, they're speaking about Krishna. Well, obviously we want people to speak positively about Krishna. And so we don't act in such a way intentionally to make people inimical to Krishna. That would be a mistake. Although Prabhupada once said that our duty is to disturb the demons. Our duty is to disturb the demons. Hare Krishna. Well, yes, and we also, there's a saying in English, let sleeping dogs lie. If someone is inimical, we may not want to disturb them because they will simply make disturbance, and we want to give our attention to the innocent, to those who are inclined to Krishna consciousness. Okay, so as with all of Krishna's pastimes, Putana Vadha Lila has a happy ending. It's that Putana is eliminated from Vrindavan, from Boma Vrindavan, where she has caused some disturbance, or she tried to make a disturbance. She made some excitement, certainly. And she is elevated to Goloka Vrindavan, where she is in the position of nurse, Datri. Datri Uchitam. Lebe Gatim Datri Uchitam Tato Anyam. Yeah. So, yeah. Putana Vadha Lila Ki Jai. Okay. We have some more time today. Okay. The truth of the Dhama is our next subject. And I'm drawing this mainly from His Holiness Shivaram Swami's book, Navavraja Mahima. This is volume 1. And it comes a chapter, I guess you can say it's part of his introduction, or, well, no, it comes just after his introduction. He has a quite long introduction, and then he has this section or this chapter called The Truth of the Dhama. And this goes for, 25, 28, 30 pages. 35 pages. No, more. 40 pages. Oh my. It goes for 50 pages. Well, I'm just going to touch on some of this. The idea of Dhama, there's a definition. Let's go to the definition from Indra, King Indra, in his prayers to Lord Krishna, begging forgiveness. For this connects to the Govardhan Lila. Vishuddha sattvam tavadama shantam tapo mayam dvasta rajastamaskam maya mayoyam gunasam pravaho na vidyate te agrahananubandha. Your transcendental form, a manifestation of pure goodness, is undisturbed by change, shining with knowledge, and devoid of passion and ignorance. In you does not exist the mighty flow of the modes of material nature, which is based on illusion and ignorance. Okay, now you've heard this and you've probably asking, so how is this a definition of Dhama, since it seems to be an address to Krishna? Well, the answer is that basically Krishna and his Dhama are non-different, and this will be elaborated. There's a sort of dictionary definition of Dhama by Kshetra Swami, the great commentator on the Bhagavatam. He says the word Dhamma can signify a dwelling place, a house, a favorite thing or person, delight or pleasure, form or appearance, power, majesty, glory, splendor, or light. And then he says, basically it means Krishna's abode. And in the very first verse of the Bhagavatam, we get the sense, according to Kshetra Swami, that simultaneously Krishna resides in his abode and he is the source of his abode. And then we have a famous statement by by Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Param Dhama, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. So Param Dhama, Arjuna is addressing Krishna as the supreme abode. And right now we see Param Dhama Ananda. Okay. Let's see more here. So all these different words, His Majesty, or Dhama means majesty, glory, splendor, all these things. Of course, these refer very much to Krishna, and therefore the idea is that Krishna and his Dhama are non-different. And then Srila Prabhupada emphasizes this when he quotes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who quotes Aradhyo Bhagavan Rajesha Tanayas Tat Dhama Vrindavanam. Vrindavan is as good as Krishna. And so what? We may ask, the significance it's profound, but one immediate point is simply that wherever there is Krishna, there is his Dhama. And what this suggests is that Krishna's Dhama is everywhere if Krishna is everywhere. But then to say that Krishna's Dhama is everywhere seems to make it nothing so special. I mean, we look around us and we see this material world, and we may wonder, how is this Krishna's Dhama? Well, one upshot of this, one significance is my reflection on this. If we could, in the spreading of Krishna consciousness, spread the idea at the same time, which was so foundational to Srila Prabhupada's preaching, that everything belongs to Krishna, that this land, this earth that we find ourselves living on, residing on, is Krishna's land, is his Dhama. This could go a long way for straightening out what is so disturbed, especially with respect to the way the human society is treating, or I should say mistreating, the planet. So then the question may come, so what is, or put it this way, this is what Shivaram Swami says, instead of saying that Krishna's Dhama is everywhere, it's all pervading, it may be better to ask, he says, where the Dhama is manifest, rather than asking the question where the Dhama is. Okay, it's everywhere, but where is it manifest? And so then we come to this point, or the subject of the five manifestations of the Dhama. And very briefly, and then we can go into more detail, but just to relieve you of the suspense, what are these five manifestations? We could make a quiz about this, I suppose. The first is Goloka Vrindavan, the Vrindavan in the spiritual realm. The second is Bhoma Vrindavan, the Vrindavan of this earth, where Krishna has appeared. The third is called Drishyamana Dhama. That is the Dhama which the advanced devotees are able to perceive in this world despite the aprakata condition of Krishna being unmanifest. Then fourth is the Dham in the heart of great devotees. And then finally, the Dhamma manifested by great devotees. So these are the five. So it starts at the top and comes down into the world, and then becomes unmanifest except for those who can see, can appreciate. And then again, it's further hidden in the hearts of the Vaishnavas, the devotees. And then it becomes manifest in physical form, visible for others to see by the grace of such Vaishnavas or Vaishnavis. Yeah. So, Goloka Vrindavan. Anybody want to go to Goloka Vrindavan? That's a kind of a trick question. We ask devotees and they're not sure whether they should say yes or no. Maybe this is one where we're supposed to say, no, I'm ready to take birth like Bhaktivinoda Thakura as a kita in the house of a devotee. Yes, that's there also. Okay, some technicalities here about Goloka Vrindavan. It's Lord Balaram who more immediately makes it manifest by the Sandini Shakti. And what one might ask, what is it constituted of? And the answer is Shuddha Sattva. And this is a little mysterious. There's a lot of discussion. I believe Jīva Goswami elaborates quite extensively. What is this Shuddha Sattva? In a way, we can say it's just an attempt with language to express what may be beyond language. Because we know about the three gunas, Tamaguna, Rajaguna, and Sattva-guna. And then we might want to think Sattva. Sattva means good, it means pure. Yes and no. It's pure, but it's in this world. It's tinged. And Sattva-guna is also subject to becoming further obscured by the other modes of nature. Okay, so then clearly that which is divyam, transcendent category, must be beyond the three modes of nature, as Krishna also explains in the Gita, Tribhir Gunamayar Bhavayar Evi Sarvidam Tata. Everyone, mohitam na abhijanati, they don't know me. Mamebhya param avyayam, I'm beyond these three modes, says Krishna. I'm in a different category, completely different category. Okay, so tell us more about that. Well, it's Shuddha Sattva. It's Sattva plus. It's turbo Sattva. It's Sattva through and through. You can't get more Sattva than this. So Shuddha Sattva. Okay, it's pure. Okay, you may say, so Sandini Shakti, the potency of existence. So there's just Sat in that case, constituting the Goloka Vrindavan. No, it is all three, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, because Krishna's Chit Shakti, as it's sometimes called, or Antaranga Shakti, as it's also called, the Shakti, the power of the inner dimension. Anga here can mean body, it can mean maybe dimension. This antaranga shakti has 3 aspects. It has Sandini, Samvit, and Ladini Shakti, and these are all present. These are all constituents of Goloka Vrindavan. So there's no lack. There's no lack of anything. And of course, Goloka it's not that there's just Krishna and this land. There's the Goloka is full of Krishna's devotees. There are his mother, his father, his friends, his girlfriends, the gopis. There are the friends of Nanda and Yashoda. Everybody has friends in Goloka Vrindavan. They're not just isolated beings connected with Krishna only. They're connected through Krishna, but they're connected to each other. And they are also constituted of Shuddha Sattva. And because Krishna can appear wherever he desires, and wherever he appears, his Dhama appears, and because Krishna can appear in different forms, so also his Dhama can appear in different forms. I'm just reading Avadhuta Raya's question, one of his esoteric questions. I read there are 2 Boma Vrindavans. Well, we haven't gotten to Boma Vrindavan yet, so maybe we should hold off on that. We're talking about Goloka Vrindavan. Then finally about Goloka Vrindavan, we have a note from the Garga Samhita. The Garga Samhita is an interesting text. It's an elaboration on Krishna Lila. And it's especially dear to the Vallabha Sampradaya, but it's also, apparently it's also appreciated in our Gaudiya Sampradaya. So in the Garga Samhita, it's mentioned that after the demigods petitioned the Lord to relieve the burden of the earth, and Krishna, of course, agreed to come to do his service, and he requested Shrimati Radharani to accompany him. And Shrimati Radharani said, "Yes, I'm happy to go with you. I don't want to be left here alone. But I'm not going unless there will be also River Yamuna, Govardhan Hill, Nandagram, and so on. All the places of Vrindavan have to be there. The forests, everything has to be there. Otherwise, I'm not going." So, of course, Krishna had to agree. Not difficult, because wherever Krishna appears, there appears his his Dhama. Okay, then we have Bhoma Vrindavan, and of course the word Bhoma comes from bhumi, bhu. Then we have bhumi and bhoma, which means related to or connected with the earth. And of course, this is what is described in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Krishna is appearing in Bhoma Vrindavan. And all of the pastimes that are described are happening in Bhoma Vrindavan. And so this is what is called prakata lila. Prakata simply means manifest. According to the dictionary, is suspected to be a word related to the word prakrita, which is like prakriti. And it's also suspected that the word is originally a Prakrit word, not a Sanskrit word. In any case, prakata lila, manifest, aprakata lila, not manifest. So Krishna manifests, he appears, he comes into the world and performs all of his wonders. And an interesting way of thinking of Bhoma Vrindavan is as a replica of Goloka Vrindavan. And one of the major differences, you may ask, okay, replica, but is there not some difference? Yes, there is a difference. One difference is that Goloka Vrindavan, the size. Would you like to know what is the size of Goloka Vrindavan? So here we have it. Taking the measure of a yojana as 8 miles, and there are different opinions about the distance of a yojana. According to some source, it is the distance that an ox with a cart can go in one day. Yes, but the distance measure that Srila Prabhupada gave in his books was 8 miles, which is what, 12 kilometers roughly? Multiplied by 100, multiply that by 1,000, multiply that by 10,000, multiply that by 100,000, multiply that by 10 million. Or, to put it another way, 4 times 10 to the 21st power kroshas. In contrast, the circumference of Bhoma Vrindavan is 84 kroshas, or approximately 164 miles. Now, at this point, someone is likely to protest. Isn't it considered one of the Dhama aparadas to measure the holy Dham? According to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we should not measure the holy Dham. And here we're getting measurements. Well, all I can say is I, for one, have not made any attempt to measure the holy Dham. I'm simply repeating what's written here. And we can say this is simply giving us some general idea of size. And in any case, we understand the Dhama is unlimited because Lord Krishna is unlimited. Bhoma Vrindavan. Now this may refer either to Goloka Dham, I think it refers to Goloka Dhama, but also to Bhoma Vrindavan when Krishna is present. These two verses at the end of the Brahma Samhita. Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Dhuma Bhumis Chintamani Ganamaito Yamamritam Kata Ganam Natyam Gamanam Apivam Shipriya Saki Chidanandam Jyoti Paramapita Svadyamapicha Sayatra Kshirabdi Shravati Suravidyas Chasumahan Nimeshardakyo Va Rajati Nahi Yatrapi Samayaha Bhaje Shveta Dvipam Tamahamiha Golokamiti Yam Vidantaste Santakshiti Viradachara Katipaye. So yeah, it mentions Shveta Dvipa, which would be the Aprakata Dhama. But what's especially striking in that description, I find, is that every step is a dance, the water is nectar, every word is poetry. And all the trees are desire trees, they're wish-fulfilling trees. Yeah. But that's okay. That's Shveta Dvip, but then again, it's also Bhoma Vrindavan when Krishna is present. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Vrindavan Dham, speaking of Bhoma Vrindavan, is very soft. Due to the mercy of the Supreme Lord, and it is especially opulent due to conjugal love. The transcendental glories of the son of Maharaj Nanda are exhibited here. Under the circumstances, not the least anxiety is awakened within us. So this is a characteristic of Bhoma Vrindavan. Again, you may protest. There was so much anxiety when Krishna was present. Mother Yashoda was totally in anxiety when Krishna was dancing on the heads of Kaliya. What do you mean there's no anxiety? Well, there's no anxiety for us who are hearing about, who are contemplating, who may be visiting Bhoma Vrindavan. If we are experiencing Bhoma Vrindavan through the descriptions of Bhoma Vrindavan, there's no anxiety for us. So this would be kind of reference, alluding, we might want to say, to what Kavi Karnapura was saying, that there are two rasas, the rasas within, amongst the associates of Krishna, with Krishna, and there are those of us who are hearing about Krishna. Okay, then there is Drishyamana Dhama, or maybe I should stop here for Avadhuta Raya's question. He says, I read there are two Bhoma Vrindavans, one which is manifest, one that is not manifest for us, 1/2 meter above manifest Bhoma Vrindavan. It seems this is the 6th type of Vrindavan or holy Dham. is the Boma Vrindavan that accepts 5 material elements, less powerful than the unmanifested Boma Vrindavan. Well, I guess I'd want to see more where this is, what is the source of this idea of a second Boma Vrindavan before I could comment about that. I'm a little hesitant considering just that Shivaram Swami doesn't mention this, and I feel like he would mention it. He's done so much research on this that it could well be that this idea of a second Vrindavan is local tradition. We have lots and lots of local traditions within Vrindavan today. So yeah, better I don't comment on that. At least not yet. Anyone else want to comment on that? Anyone have some authoritative statement for us? Okay. Anyone else? Maybe I stop here. Actually, I did want to stop a little bit early because I have another meeting in an hour, and we're going to have lunch. I'm supposed to speak with the devotees in Ujjain. Many of you may know Ujjain ISKCON temple was kind of the main temple of His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj. So the Ujjain devotees are doing a very nice thing. They're organizing for many older devotees to speak to the community, sort of one each evening. So they've asked me to speak. Yeah, this question from Mamatamayi might be referring to the third one, which is Drishyamana Dhama, that Dhama which is perceived by those who are qualified to see. Sugopi Tungavidya is asking, or telling us, Vrindavan is a forest of Tulsi. Does Goloka have Tulsi? I would think so. Can you imagine Goloka Vrindavan without Tulsi? No, that wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't think so. But I can only tell you for sure after I get there. But I mean, there must be Tulsi. Tulasi must be there. Vrinda Devi is there. And I suppose this will be discussed later, but it may be, we can mention now, since we are anticipating Radhashtami, the appearance of Srimati Radharani, that, one time I was in Vrindavan. This was in 2001. I was doing my research on Radharaman Temple, and someone asked me my name, and I said, I'm Krishna Kshetra Das. And I said, Krishna Kshetra, Kshetra means place or field, so the place of the place of Krishna or Vrindavan, because that's how Srila Prabhupada explained it to me. And this person said, no, Vrindavan is the place of Srimati Radharani. She is Vrindavaneshwari. She is in charge. and I was there that same year. I was there for during Radhashtami when they make a it's a real kind of a folk festival, I would say. But yeah, there's a real feeling in Vrindavan that our Radha is in charge here. She is the one in charge, Vrindavaneshwari. So we can anticipate Srimati Radharani's appearance. What I think it's 26th. Okay, so we have another. Do we have another Sanga before that? 2. Oh. No, we have 1 before that. Yeah. Okay, anyway, we can anticipate her appearance. Now that Krishna has appeared, we can sustain our remembrance, our smarana of Krishna, whether he is killing demons or lifting mountains or dancing. Is that all right? Oh, let's see. Mangala is asking, when trying to give Krishna to family members close to us, parents and so on, they sometimes, in my experience, become reserved or inimical. Still, it seems our eagerness to give them some Krishna consciousness is stronger than toward other people. It is difficult to be indifferent, and they at least get to hear something of Krishna, even if these are not positive thoughts. Question, do you have some advice? Should we become more detached when talking about Krishna to people who are close to us, or is this attachment beneficial and natural? I think it's natural, and I think it's beneficial, but it's a matter of great sensitivity to know when to sort of pull back. We don't want our family members to become inimical to Krishna, do we? So where to find that right balance? But I think the main thing is with family members, just being as you are and allowing them to see you as their family member, as their daughter and whatever, but just being a really nice daughter or son or whatever. And if they see you, just being well situated, something will work on them, and they'll think, there may be something to this Krishna consciousness. And I've heard any number of devotees saying like that. Initially, so much inimical feeling, and then after some time, something happens, something softens, and they can become actually very favorable. A certain detachment also has to be there. In other words, if someone is not kind of opening up and allowing at least a little space for Krishna, then we say, okay. But the detachment should be just that. It should be not anger or, being upset with someone. What, you're not accepting Krishna? No, that's okay. It's all right, because we know sooner or later Krishna will capture everyone. sooner or later, sooner or later. All right, I'm going to have to end there, and I'm happy to see you all. I would be happy to spend more time, but I wish you all a very nice and Krishna conscious week. And keep well, keep safe. And may Krishna with his holy Dham enter into your heart, because this is what's coming up. At some point we'll talk about Krishna's Dhama being in the heart. So in anticipation of that, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande Haribo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. So see you next Saturday.
Yes, Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.